Hi, and welcome to Processing Pros, a series through Ear on Processing. On this series, we're joined by engineers, executives, and other thought leaders in the process manufacturing sector to cover a variety of topics you need to know to better manage your industrial process operations and to maximize product quality, output, and profitability. And now, on to the episode. This is Daniel Gaddy, Managing Editor for Processing Magazine, and joining me today is Erik Lindhjem, Vice President and General Manager of Emerson's Reliability Solutions business. Erik's here to talk with me today about bringing asset health data to the next level, and by next level, we mean not just managing asset health for a plant, but an entire enterprise. Erik, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
So to start off with, tell me, what are some of the challenges reliability teams are telling you about these days?
I get the opportunity to travel all over the world, talk to a lot of different teams. I can't think of, many of the countries that I haven't been to at this point in time, it seems like. But, the days of easy wins are over, right? The things individually in the plants, those problems have been solved for. And so, like you said, many of these are now becoming more and more of truly enterprise problems, problems that exist across many different facilities kind of coming together and optimizing at that larger level. If you think about it, it requires a massive amount of data. It's becoming overwhelming of how do you stitch that together? How do you organize it? And how do you really utilize it to solve for those problems, both in terms of creating, both the information that's required and the knowledge to really solve those problems. And the other part of it is really just the teams being able to find an automatic way to collect that data from the various systems, aggregating it into a common data model, and then being able to track, trend, apply it to the workflows, and really these new processes that are being created at the enterprise level. And it's really that ability to work seamlessly across, the work and across the data, wherever that geography is, right? So many of the customers I talk to, right, are maybe supporting multiple plants within a country or across countries and being able to make that work. And it really just becomes crucial to driving that performance and reliability of the facilities. So in essence, really challenges revolve around harnessing that data, making it really work at the enterprise scale, and being able to, consolidate those disparate sources and utilize it to drive really around what everybody's been talking around, these advanced analytics, to be able to drive insights and translate to that some competitive advantages for their businesses.
hmm And why do you think that managing data has become so difficult?
I think there's two pieces to that. One is just the sheer amount and volume of data that's coming through. You think of the intelligent field devices, how that's continuing to change with APL as we go forward in the years to come. There's just more and more devices being put on networks. There's really a variety of software systems, whether that's asset management systems, machinery health, field device management software, historians. All of these provide, many data points coming in, as well as just many points of data that have to be aggregated. And then just the vast number of data sources that make this a big challenge. The other part of it is just time consuming, right? Data collection, the aggregation process. Historically, we've had to go out and collect that data manually in the field through, operator rounds or other things of that nature. And that becomes tedious, time-consuming tasks, and it is a challenge. Once that data's in, you've got to, take it from those different sources, try to aggregate that into some contextual model, some way in which to, organize that information, and that takes time. And like everything, right, being engineers, right, a lot of it has been done through spreadsheets, and that's not necessarily the most efficient way to do it, and can be, pretty complicated. So for some of our customers, right, it may be, that they've got to go out to 20 different systems, pull those together that are managing instruments and valves in the field. And those systems may be installed at, the same facility or multiple facilities. And that time of logging in, processing information, making it work it's quite an effort at this time.
Okay, so too much data, not enough time or people to handle it all. So how do we solve that?
A lot of it comes, in really the power of the automation software. particular that enterprise level, that's really designed kind of fit for purpose for being able to, one, take that data, consolidate it, standardize it, bringing that large amount of data and being able to put it into a common repository, but then also being able to contextualize all that data as it's collected, making it more useful, more insightful, more, easy to understand as people to go through it. And then allowing for centralized data access, both from how do we bring data into the system? How do we, through modern open protocols like MQTT, OPC how do we make that automatic, data collection work? And how do we, kind of set that up in a centralized way? And then also now when we think about, so we've collected that data, we've aggregated it, but really how do we, drive that data analysis, that monitoring side off of a central system? So that ability to, really look at those central capabilities around tracking trends, monitoring performance of the health of the equipment or the instrumentation that we might be, looking at, and then making it easy for users, right, to be able to, guide them through that process, whether they're a technician or a manager of some type, really looking to understand the individual plants or the assets that are driving the performance and the health. And then ultimately making it, simple and easy from a user perspective, right, to do data presentation that's really kind of fit for purpose around a maintenance and reliability professional, right, what they understand as opposed to an IT person.
Isn't there a risk that bringing data up to the enterprise level will create even more complexity?
Um, you know, always, right? There's always, more risk as you start to aggregate. But like I said, if you do this in such a way that we remember that we're working towards those maintenance reliability professionals, right? Building kind of professional grade products, solutions for them and not necessarily IT staff. Um, it does become complex, but getting rid of the VPNs that are out there, the virtual private networks, the remote desktop clients, and getting away from those single users, right? You reduce some of the complexity that they had in terms of multiple logins, jump servers, the DMCs, the firewalls, all the things that have been put in place to create, from a security standpoint, that defense in depth and the layers of security, those all become kind of impediments. So as we bring this up, it somewhat becomes easier, right? You now have a single place in which to allow users to come in and be able to get data information, be able to make decisions, be able to start to drive work in and around that. And, that becomes kind of the power of the modern protocols that allow this to work through it and really create a boundless automation network that connects seamlessly from that intelligent field into the edge devices that are enabling data to flow up, be able to be preprocessed, and ultimately to be served up the cloud level where many of our users are doing work today.
So, as reliability teams begin to automate data collection and transmission to the enterprise, what benefits are they seeing?
A lot of the biggest benefits we see today is really that ability to close that loop on reliability and maintenance, just in the same way that we close the loop on control. So for many of those that are listening to this, right, and thinking about it, for years, businesses have been focused on closed loop control and how that works. And in the same kind of context, right, that ability to take information from the field, intelligent devices, process, data information, we have the ability to close the reliability and maintenance loop. And that's really that, how do we tie into enterprise maintenance management systems and kind of quickly turn that raw data into information that can be driven into work. That's done through this kind of intuitive software interface, that ability to, understand by machine, by location, by type, really contextualize it so it's easy to understand and in the context of the work that's trying to be done by those individuals, and whether or not they're at a technician level or into a maintenance reliability manager type professional person trying to make decisions. And then being able to start to create that shortcut and that connection from those individual systems that they maybe were working in historically, but bring those into, the asset management, connect that asset management world, the condition monitoring into the maintenance management systems and start to make that a workflow process that is more consistent, from that ability to identify the problem, evaluate the problem, and then drive it to execution. So it really kind of changes that paradigm from before, where each of those steps required people to have to, transition from the systems and carry it across, whether that was through email or through, pick up the phone, talking to people, daily meetings, things of that nature. So today's software really is geared towards, and ultimately a mobile workforce. Many of our people are not necessarily working in plants on a day-to-day basis, or if they are, they're on the go. And so things like, we've developed around AMS Optics and the ability to put actionable information in front of somebody so they can make a choice, make a decision, and then pass that off into the system where work starts to happen, like a maintenance management system where you're doing planning and scheduling and driving activities.
Great. Well, those are all the questions I had. Erik, thanks again for taking the time to speak with me and for lending your expertise to this.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And if our listeners would like to learn more about taking asset health data to the next level, Erik's written an article that's available on processingmagazine.com, which we'll link to. Thank you for listening to Ear on Processing. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app and share our episodes with colleagues that could find the information we share helpful.